Welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Gisela K, and today is a follow-up of a live stream that we did concerning this case, where a 34-year-old man had picked up a 16-year-old girl in North Carolina and driven her home to stay with him and his mom in Kentucky, and she was actually found by police under a trapdoor. Now, if you've never heard of this case, I am going to go over my presentation one more time, okay, so that we are all on the same page by the time we see this video clip, which is the update. If you did see the live stream and you don't want to go through the presentation again, just skip to the next timestamp. If you don't know what a timestamp is, if you look in the comments section, I always pin my comment, so it'll be right on top, okay? And if you just expand that comment, you'll see little blue numbers, right? If you click on that, it says a title next to it. You can skip parts of the video. I highlight key moments in every live stream and video that I do, unless, of course, it's a very short video. So just go there and skip to the update part, okay, if you don't want to see the presentation again. I do think it's important for me to go through this presentation and tell the whole story so that we're all on the same page and you understand what we know so far. So let's do that. Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. In mid-November, a 16-year-old girl in Fayetteville, North Carolina, was chatting to a 19-year-old boy that she'd met on Facebook. It's likely that they were sharing fantasies of meeting up because 3 weeks later, this would become a reality. Now, this next bullet point, I'm not 100% certain of now. I'm now doubting myself. I'd read it in all my research that this boy had promised her an electronic device that she'd wanted for a long time. So the thing is, though, that he's facing a charge of luring a minor with an electronic device. So I'm wondering if some of the sources that I read took that literally, as did I, and that now we're thinking he lured her with one. Now, it is plausible that he did, because in cases like this, they so often do, number one. And two, her grandfather actually shared, which we're going to hear that phone call clip, he shared with a media outlet that her grandmother had actually taken away her phone. So even that would tell me that it is possible that he actually did offer her something like an iPhone if she agreed to go with him to Kentucky. So she'd actually shared with him that she wasn't happy at home and would gladly go with him to his home in Kentucky to meet his family. How awesome would that be for Christmas, for the holidays, with a cute boy and his family all the way in Kentucky? The road trip sounded fun, and now she had something to look forward to. So this guy drove 8.5 hours from Kentucky to Fayetteville, North Carolina to pick this girl up. And he picked her up just after midnight, so around 12:30 a.m. on December 6th of 2023. And then we've turned around and probably very excitedly, which is a scary thought, you'll hear why, drove her all the way back to Kentucky where he lived with his mom. On December 8th of 2023, she was reported missing by her family, which I assume to be her grandparents who she was staying with, to the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office. Now, say they're possibly last seen December 6th, 12:30 a.m. Please, if you find the posts and things like that or her name, don't post her name in the comments section or anywhere on social media. Please help protect her identity. She is a minor. She's 16 years old. Even the documents would be heavily redacted, and it's very, very hard to get them because she's a minor. They might not actually allow those documents to become public. So they did describe her as a white female, 16 years old, 5'3", 130 pounds, blue eyes, red and green hair, last seen wearing black sweatpants, a black hoodie, a black t-shirt, and black sneakers, which would help her sneak out, in the middle of the night, I'm sure. And so she also has piercings on her cheek, eyebrow, upper and lower lip. And so, again, I say this teen is not being identified for her privacy, but it isn't that hard to find her name. So when you do, or if you do, please don't share it anywhere, okay? Keep it to yourself. For 18 days, her family worried about her. It was as if she had disappeared without a trace. Her grandfather said he was actually worried that she was dead, that they would never see her again. Now, on Christmas Day, December 25th of 2023, Police responded to a home on the 1400 block of Robertstown Road in the Kings Mountain area of Kentucky. It's a very isolated area, like countryside, and this address would be a mobile home, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and it is a lady living there. I think her husband is there too. I'm not too sure on that. And then also her son, a 34-year-old guy called Zackary Jones. Okay, so this lady calls, her name is Rhonda, and she says she's very concerned about a domestic violence situation between her son and his girlfriend. So she did the right thing by calling the police, okay? And she said they were arguing, yelling, and screaming, and said it's probably the hardest thing she had to do. That makes me wonder, if she says that's probably the hardest thing I had to do, I wonder if she's wanted to do it in the past, because someone who commits a crime or allegedly commits crimes like this likely has a track record. So it makes me wonder if there are any other times that Rhonda wanted to call the police. When the police got there, a 34-year-old man named Zackary Jones said that, the woman, his girlfriend, no, she's not here anymore. Gone. He says she left. His mother actually said that the girlfriend had not left the property. So big brownie points for Rhonda there, and of course for calling the police. There were some comments yesterday during the live stream where people say, well, she probably knew and she should have called sooner. And so yeah, should have, could have, would have, all of that. But I mean, rather late than never. What if she never called the police? And who knows what the police are going to find out about this guy and what he's maybe done in the past. So deputies decided to look around the home and could see drug paraphernalia with residue in plain view, which Zackary then grabbed and tried to chuck into a wood stove in his bedroom. He was arrested and placed in a police cruiser while officers continued their search through the home. He was probably very nervous sitting in that police car, right? Waiting to see, oh man, are they going to discover the trap door in his bedroom? They did. They discovered a trapdoor hidden under a rug in his bedroom. So they found the girlfriend and then realized this is the 16-year-old girl who was missing from North Carolina, obviously by putting her name into the system, right? And they described her as being very high on drugs. Rhonda, Zackary's mother, said she had no idea about the trapdoor or the drug paraphernalia because she never went up there. They interviewed the 16-year-old girl and were told that Zackary Jones had picked her up in North Carolina, where she stayed with her grandmother, and brought her to his home. When she met him in person for the first time, she said that he looked older than his pictures. He said, okay, he lied, he's really 25, which of course was also a lie. She later found out that he actually was 34. We're going to get to that. On the drive, they actually got pulled over at a traffic stop. He told her that if those officers asked them to step out of the vehicle, he would shoot them with his .22 pistol. He also threatened to shoot her. When they got to his house, where he lived with his mother, she found out that this man was really 34 years old. Then he threatened her and told her to say that she was 18 years old if anyone ever asked. He then threatened her multiple times, saying that he would kill her. And she then eventually begged him to kill her, which tells you the trauma level, right? She said that he sexually assaulted her and they used crack cocaine together. Now, Rhonda said, I asked how old she was and he said she's 19. Someone in yesterday's live stream pointed out, actually in the comments section, that why would she have to ask the age of this girl? If it was someone that she thought was an adult, why would she ask how old is she? Right? That's a good point, actually. Anyway, so Rhonda said, I asked him how old she was. He said she's 19. So I took it as the truth. I believed him because a lot of girls looked older than they are. Now, in the live stream yesterday, we discussed that at quite at length of her saying girls looked older than they are. The way she says looked in the past tense like that, again, tells me that there were other girls that he'd brought to the home. And I wonder what has happened to them. And I hope that if they are out there, that they'll be able to come forward and share what happened to them with the police, because it could really help the case. Rhonda said to me she willingly came with him. I just feel like they'd probably been talking. I don't know how long he's been texting her. From what the cop said, that she was unhappy where she was and she felt like she was cared for and came with him. Which, I mean, is the opposite of what he was actually doing, right? The danger of interacting with, meeting predators online when you don't know that they're predators. And this can happen to anyone at any age, male or female. Social media does have a lot of dangers, so be very, very careful. Then Rhonda said, I was shocked. I'm always upset when he lies to me. I'd love to know how many other times he lied and about what. No matter what he had done, he's my son and I love him. I'm sorry he did it, and that's all I can say. Which again makes me want to ask her lots of questions, right? So it is alleged that this 34-year-old man from Kentucky posed as a 19-year-old on Facebook and made contact with a 16-year-old. He has admitted to having sex with her, which, if he could just realize you didn't have sex with her, you sexually assaulted her. In Kentucky, he's facing 10 third-degree charges of SA and another 10 third-degree charges of sodomy. He's also charged with using an electronic device to entice and lure a minor across state lines, which is, of course, a federal offense. And see, that charge is the one that I was talking about earlier, that I wonder if they mean, that he tried to entice her by offering her an electronic device and maybe used an electronic device to entice her, if you know what I mean. It could be both or either or. The safest option, before we get clarity, is that he used an electronic device to access Facebook to talk to this girl, to entice her and lure her to his home in Kentucky. So now further charges are for, and this is very hectic, oh my word, for assault, strangulation. Whoa, okay, unlawful transaction with a minor, illegal sex act, unlawful transaction with a minor, illegal controlled substance, possession of a controlled substance, and resisting arrest. And if you look on the right-hand side there, he's also been charged with tampering with physical evidence, third-degree terroristic threatening, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I think it sounds like he was majorly resisting arrest, and I wonder if that third-degree terroristic threatening has anything to do with a traffic stop. You know what he threatened to do if the officers had asked him to get out of the vehicle. I'm not too sure, but he's really got a long rap sheet now. He's being held at the Pulaski County Jail. News outlets have reached out to the teen's family, who declined to be interviewed. The family said they are glad the teen is safe, but she's traumatized and needs time to heal. Family will pursue charges against him in North Carolina. And now for the update. Let's watch this little video clip together. This is 34-year-old Zackary Jones. He looks slightly better here, right, than he did in his mugshot. In his mugshot, we're all like 34 or 44. 34! Apparently, he's 34 years old. Let's have a listen together what he says here. And I am going to pause and I am going to make commentary. So if that's not your thing, click on the news source, which is linked in the description box, and go watch it with yourself. And go watch it yourself without any of my interruptions, okay? So listen to this.
He went to North Carolina to help her.
He says he went to North Carolina to help her. No. Based on the charges he's facing, that's not called helping her at all. That's like a predator, right? The predator talk. I went there to help her. No, you found someone vulnerable to pick on.
Her grandma kicked her out. She didn't appear to be that age. She had all kinds of piercings.
But the 16-year-old...
He says her grandma kicked her out, which I don't think is true. Then says she didn't appear that age. Okay, distancing language. Either way, even if she appeared to be not that age and he thought, okay, she's 18 or 19. Yeah, right. You know why? Because of her statement saying that he threatened her. He threatened to kill her if she told anyone that she was actually 16. He knew, right? Okay.
Old girl's grandfather says she ran away from her grandmother and then met up with Jones.
She started taking her privileges away from her phone and all kinds.
You see, when the grandfather says that this girl's grandmother started taking her privileges away from her, like her phone, you see, that's what makes me think, okay, maybe he did lure her by offering her a phone, an electronic device. Either way, she was being disciplined at home, which is called parenting. She lived with her grandparents, and they were obviously trying to set boundaries, trying to discipline her. Now, when the grandfather says, well, she ran away and then met up with this Zackary Jones, it's actually kind of, but she was actually, if you look at it, it's not that. It's a predator lured her away from home by offering her things that he was never going to give her. He got her into his vehicle and was probably salivating at the thought of everything he was going to do to her. And then he essayed her and he kept her trapped. He controlled her. He threatened to kill her. She was begging for him to kill her. That's terrible.
Kinds of stuff away from her, and that's when she got mad and left, and she would not come back home.
Bauman says they lost complete communication with her for weeks. She was reported missing in early December.
I was thinking she was dead.
It just sounds so sad, right? You know, when her grandfather's like, I was thinking she was dead. It just sounds terrible. And also, this is not a case of this very, naughty teenager that just ran off with this man. This is the point, okay? This is where I think thinking needs to change a little bit, in my opinion, that's the point. If teenagers are not happy, struggling with depression, struggling with substance abuse, allegedly, like in this case, right? Well, that's a red flag. And guess what? Social media connects everyone. And guess who's on social media? Plenty of human traffickers, predators. I mean, they are so lucky that she survived this. I don't think she feels so lucky. I think she's got a lot of trauma to work through now. But this is not a case of a naughty 16-year-old who was just not behaving at home and then she ran off with this man. That's the thing. These predators, coercive controllers, abusers, even maybe serial killers, those types, okay? They're fishing in the social media pond for exactly these types of vulnerable people. So if you can identify the risks of what a person's going through and say, damn, I'm just saying allegedly from what we've read, she's abusing substances, she's got piercings, changing her hair color all the time. That doesn't matter. She's expressing herself. She definitely needs help. And I guess this is actually more a lesson for the teens themselves or whoever's going through that, right? Be careful. When you're looking for help or an escape or something exciting, unfortunately, there's a lot of danger there. There's a lot of risk because there are helpers out there just ready to take you in, but for their own gain, for their own purposes. And they're already assessing the situation. Okay, you've got low self-worth, you're vulnerable, you want to run away. Okay, come here, I'll help you. It's a real problem. So be very, very careful. If you are looking for an escape, if you are looking for help, and if you are looking for something exciting, just be very hyper vigilant, very careful of what type of help you're going to accept. And as we heard, when she first saw him, she was like, you look a lot older than I thought you were. And then he's like, okay, I'm 25. We've seen that happen in many cases. That's what predators do. Just say, okay, I'm sorry, I liked you so much that I lied about my age because I didn't want to scare you off. But they're still lying. At that moment, there is still a chance to say, I'm not getting in a car with you. You don't have to commit to the plans that you've made, even if this person, because this type of guy would have guilt-tripped her. Like, I drove all the way here for you. I drove 8.5 hours to be here to fetch you. So then you feel already coerced, and that's the problem, into, okay, well, I better just follow through. Trust your gut. If your gut says, this feels wrong, I don't think I should get in the car, then don't. Even if the situation you have to go back home to isn't so pleasant. Be very careful because things can get worse, unfortunately. Sometimes when you think you're at rock bottom, oh no, things can get worse, okay? So just be very careful. Let's continue to listen.
Was with Jones in Kentucky. Police say they found her Christmas Day inside a trap door hidden under a rug in the bedroom.
She hid on her own free will. She was actually in the bed when the officers first come in there.
Did you see how he was smiling when he said that she hid, in her own free will? It was her choice. Yeah, you'd been threatening to kill her the whole way through. Threatening to kill her, she revealed her real age. If she told any of the officers at the traffic stop anything. If she told his own mother her real age. All sorts of things. So I'm sure that he would have said, remember the 22 pistol, like get in there and you stay in there and you don't come out. I don't think she hid there in her own free will. And even if she did, the whole situation is incredibly traumatic.
I don't think he was trying to rescue anybody, me, myself. I think he was just trying to find another person to victimize.
When he says another person, sounds like we're on the same page. there's probably going to be more victims that surface now, especially that his face is out there and people might see that face and remember what happened to them, and hopefully they could tell the police so that they can get justice and so that this man can never hurt anyone else again.
Giving the girl drugs and tried to destroy drug paraphernalia in front of officers.
Okay, so that is the update for now. If I do manage to get a copy of the probably very heavily redacted probable cause affidavit, then I will share that with you, or the 911 call that, Rhonda made, or even his police interview or anything like that. Sometimes, some states will withhold that until after the trial. If there is a trial date set eventually, I'll let you know. If there's any updates, I'll let you know as well. Make sure you also check out my YouTube shorts, because sometimes if there's a quick update, I'll update you there on many of these cases that we follow. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button, make sure your notifications are on so you don't miss out on the next video or YouTube short or live stream. I always do a variety of all of those formats for you, and check out the community tab from time to time as well, because there's updates there too. So stay safe. Be very careful who you're interacting with online. It's easy to get that feeling that you're building trust with someone. We all do it. We talk to people online and develop these relationships, but you don't actually know those people. Right? If you've never met them in person, spend actual time with them, you don't know them. So just be very careful, because they could literally be lying about everything. Their age, maybe even where they live, who they are, their gender, anything. It could really be anything. And please also teach your kids about the dangers of social media, because did you know that if you're 13 years old, you can start a YouTube channel, you can have a TikTok account, you can have an Instagram account. That's why all these platforms want us to say words like SA and all these words, because they're trying to keep it PG-13. Literally, because 13-year-olds can start YouTube channels and all these accounts, which I find so scary. Imagine being 13 years old and having a YouTube channel or a TikTok account. I just can't imagine what's happening in their inbox. It must be terrifying. I mean, I'm 39 now, almost 40. In March, it will be my birthday. And so for me, what I see in my inbox sometimes is scary. I can't imagine being a teenager. So please teach them about the dangers of social media. Don't let anyone threaten them, coerce them, lure them online. There's many cases as well where I've seen so many this year where young boys are taking their own life because there's people who are posing as teenage girls and then interacting with these boys and developing some sort of like a love interest, and then getting them to send them pictures, and then they threaten to show those pictures, which might be compromising, right, to their parents unless they pay them in Bitcoin or send them dollars or Venmo, Cash App, whatever it is. And these boys can't deal with it, and then they take their own life. I mean, how incredibly sad is that? So make sure that you have these conversations with your kids about the dangers of social media. Social media can be great, but unfortunately, it is very risky territory, and one must be very, very careful. Okay, so stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.